You remember at the end of the last podcast
Yeah.
when I said we were going to do the 21 or 28 conspiracy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you remember how we recorded that last week?
Yes.
Yeah, we got a copyright strike on it. We must be a legitimate channel now. Well, here's the situation. What happened is at first when we actually recorded the podcast, I described something that was, I knew it was covered under copyright, but we were using a thing to do show you how to debunk conspiracies, and I used basically I used that thing as a and move things around a little bit as a way to come up with a easily debunkable conspiracy. I didn't want anything that required any thought or anything that anybody could use in an actual conspiracy theory. And so I was describing the inspiration for it. Well, here's the problem. I described it wrong.
How?
I actually, it was, well, number one, it was wrong. And number two, it was wildly inaccurate. And both of those things I don't care for, and instead of, as kind of a courtesy to show where the origin of this thing came from, I decided to use a clip and show where this conspiracy actually, the inspiration for this conspiracy actually came from. And and I'm not going to give too much away here because it will be a podcast eventually. Whether it contains that clip or not, I'm not 100% sure. It all depends on the copyright holder, and if they're going to work with me or not. So we'll see. But so what we're going to do is, so I've got that video private, and I'm going to wait. It may take 30 days to get this resolved, but we're just going to hold it back and until the whole copyright situation is resolved. And because I genuinely believe that it's a fair use issue. So that because we're using this in an educational way to try and, we're trying to do conspiracy, having people have a easily debunkable conspiracy theory to play with. It's I think the whole copyright thing will be resolved in fairly short order, and then we'll release it, and everything will be fine with the world. So we'll see. But I do have a plan B if that doesn't work out. If for some reason there's a larger issue, or if the copyright holder is intractable or wants royalties or something like that, we'll figure it out. But I do have a plan B. Plan B will kind of suck, but we'll figure it out one way or the other. So anyway, we're recording this on Good Friday.
Yeah, I kind of wish it wasn't today.
Why?
Because the update for Dandy's World is out. Like, right now.
Dandy's World?
Yeah. It has a bunch of, Easter tunes.
Yeah, and? You have all weekend to do that.
So?
I mean, you can play Dandy's World until your eyeballs fall out.
Well, then you're going to have to unlock my phone.
Now, why would I want to do that?
So I can play
What's in it for me?
I'll stop bothering you to unlock my phone.
Stop bothering you to unlock your phone.
Yeah.
Well, see, April got in trouble this week, so she can't have her phone unlock her. She can't have her phone extended, her time extended.
Yeah, I know that.
So
But my time can be extended. When will that happen?
I don't know, when you wake up in the morning and consistently get on the bus.
I try my best, okay? I can't always keep up with my sleeping schedule.
Well, it's your sleeping schedule. You're responsible for it. You know, it's no different than if I got to go to work, I've got to go to work. Otherwise, I better have a darn good excuse, like I'm sick or something. And then I don't have to go, but, you know, I have to go to work, and when I have to go to work. And it's my responsibility, so it's your responsibility to get your butt to school.
No.
Anyway, all right, enough humiliating the sidekick for now.
No, wait. Luigi!
Yeah, I was going to say, not Mario. So what we're going to go through is something I've been wanting to do in a podcast type format for a very long time, for many years. I wrote this article. Now, the date on this article on gigabytestech.com, it's under the retro computing section of the website. But but I wrote this article actually probably 2 years prior. Is the Nintendo Wii a retro console? And I asked this question because it was, the Nintendo Wii is strange. Because when we're talking about computers and electronics and all that good stuff, there's a life cycle to it. There's you have this thing, it comes out, it's very expensive, it's out for a while, and then maybe they decide to release something else, or there's something newer, there's something different that replaces it, and then it gets interest wanes, it gets cheaper, until finally there's zero interest in it, and you can't hardly give them away. You basically go to a rummage sale, and there's a giant cardboard box with an entire Atari and hundreds of games with it for $10, and then that period lasts for historically about a decade, depending on the support you get from the community. And then it starts to become nostalgic, and the price starts creeping back up a little bit. And in some cases, the price can get back to what they were charging before for the same console. And the Nintendo Wii seems to have bucked that trend. And the reason that it seems to have bucked that trend is because basically Nintendo shut it off. The Wii store and all of the games, if you bought anything digitally, if you bought anything whatever, if it's on your console, it's legit. But you can't get anything else. Like, if you want to go buy Kid Icarus, a retro game from the Nintendo store or something, you can't do that anymore. And it has limited the functionality of the Nintendo Wii. Now, the Wii is an interesting case study because you have both digital games and you have physical games that are on disc. Mm. Because the Wii of course, was a replacement for the Nintendo GameCube, but the Wii was internet connected, and there was a lot more you could do with it. Nintendo shut down the Wii shop after a little over 12 years of service. So on January 31st, 2019, the Wii shop was shut down. Effectively, apart from being able to play disc games, it's still functional in that respect. But the minute that they shut the Wii shop down, you have the choice of playing disc games only, or playing, I don't know, or going homebrew, where you modify the unit and start playing pirated games on it. So, which you can absolutely do. I was thinking about doing that for my Wii, and we had like 3 of them. So Mom's got one, I've got one, and Robert's got one.
Yeah.
He's got the red one.
Yeah.
But this is it's not so much. It is as much a discussion about whether the Wii is a retro console as it is about future consoles. So the Wii shop got shut down. It took away a big piece of functionality from the Wii. And it made it sort of pointless. If you have a Wii that's completely reset, you can't download other software. You can't go and download Netflix or Hulu or any of that other stuff. Those were you could download those onto your console and play movies and stuff. That makes it very very usable. Something that's a multi-functional device. But when they shut down the Wii shop, you don't get any updates on it anymore. You don't get. I mean, it just, if it's on your system, you'll have the software. But the problem is they're not providing updates for it. So the Netflix on the Wii is incompatible with modern Netflix. You can't use it. It doesn't work. So, which sucks. And Homebrew doesn't even fix that kind of functionality. Not to my knowledge, it doesn't anyway. So then what? You start to think about modern games. Modern games, you can still get you can get Xbox games and PS5 games and whatnot on disc, or PS4 games or whatever on disc, on physical media, but they're basically a key to the Xbox shop so that you can download the game onto your system. That wasn't the way that's not really the way it works with like PS4, where the game, the install files for the game are on the PS4, because there are people that want to play the original game of No Man's Sky, and it came out on the PS4. And so what they do is they take the disc, they start installing, they unplug the internet, and then they can play the old version of the game. But like modern discs and whatnot, the new Xboxes aren't even coming with drives anymore. They're basically a delivery device for a key to the Xbox shop. So if Xbox decides to shut their stuff down, or like the Switch, if the Switch decides they're going to shut the stuff off, well, how are you going to play any games? How are you going to install new games? How are you going to do any of it? How are you going to play Dandy's World on the Xbox?
Very carefully.
Because everything requires you to be online. This is even true of like Steam for the PC. If Steam goes belly up and disappears, everything you bought on Steam is gone. You don't have that. There's no physical backup of it. So now what?
I barely use Steam anyway.
That's all I game on. is Steam.
Good for you.
Because I don't do consoles anymore. The Wii was the last console I ever bought, and the last console I ever will buy, so long as the environment remains as it is. You know, the whole digital only thing bothers me very, very much. You know, Sony has taken steps to they were going to shut down the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 stores, but they basically did an update so that it's those stores will remain accessible in perpetuity. It's not like it's not like it's expensive to run them. You have a server and it's up and you update it every once in a while. It's hardly anything off of Sony's billions of dollars that they collect.
Yeah.
But I mean it is an expense. But the people who want to play these games and want to download these games and want to do this or that, why not just leave it open? Why not just, instead of shutting everything down and saying go buy a new console, why not just leave it open for the enthusiasts? Why not leave it open? What do you think of all this? Because you're our resident, you're more of a video game enthusiast than I am.
Not really.
Yeah, but you play other different things than I do. You play Roblox, you play Minecraft, you play, I've played Minecraft too, but I don't, I play Minetest, which is an open source version of Minecraft, and I would argue it's better. You do a lot more with Minetest than you can with Minecraft.
With the right mods, you can do more in Minecraft than Minetest.
But Minetest has got mods too.
Well, I've never heard of that.
How do you think I made my spaceship?
You made a spaceship?
I made a spaceship, and I floated it up in the sky, and that actually became my main base.
Nice.
With all kinds of storage, and I had angles that I had to use. I had to use a mod to cut the blocks in order to fit them in the right place.
Nice.
Because I had weird angles too. I had to make compound cuts, and it was difficult. I actually made the spaceship several other times. Yeah, but on my main save, which I haven't touched in years, it's still there. So yes. Anyway, so what do you think of all that?
I don't know.
Because see, like, when you go out and bought a video game, let's just say it's Atari. Yeah, okay, that's 70s and 80s. You got a cartridge. Every time you bought a game, you got a cartridge. You got something physical. You shoved it into the unit and you played the game.
Mm.
Now, granted, it doesn't ever update. It doesn't ever. But maybe what would be nice is if, let's say, something does happen to the store. So on a console, instead of having this hard drive with this internal memory, why not have like a cartridge that you plug in like a USB drive into the unit, and then you play the game off of the USB drive.
Mm.
And when you need to update the game, you plug the game in, and you go on the internet and you update it, and then your cartridge is updated.
Nice.
Now people will say, "Well, but you don't get the performance, and you don't get," whatever. There's ways around it, like a serial ATA hard drive, for example, which is or an NVMe drive. You could still have your your main NVMe drive inside the console, but then you have a cartridge that you plug into the console to play whatever game you want. Something physical. And it doesn't require you to be online necessarily. I mean, if the server goes down, for example, you won't be able to get online anyway.
True.
But you could still plug the game in and play your game. Play it on a solo or whatever instead of with a group.
Nice.
I think that's a better idea. Don't you?
Sure.
Sure. So there's the whole point is like there's a meme that went around. It said, "If buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing." And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, if the whole retro community is essentially based off of piracy. There's like EA has been around forever, and they own all kinds of retro properties and retro games. But they choose, basically they've made their money and they've moved on. So if they're going to defend any of their IP, it's going to be current. But retro games, you can buy and sell physical copies, but with retro games, a lot of it's just freely available on the internet, and these companies aren't going after these people that are hosting these old games because there's really no money in it anymore. What would be the point of going after somebody who's downloading an old Commodore 64 game because they want to play it? It's kind of personal use anyway, a bit. They're doing it for nostalgia's sake or whatever. They're not selling brand new physical copies. They're not creating a marketplace for those old games, because that would cost money and whatnot. So, but then at the same time, these online stores, there was a couple of incidents where some of the IP holders pulled a couple of titles from Amazon, and the people who bought them, basically, they disappeared from their libraries. They bought them digitally, and now they don't have them anymore. So, I mean, what if, let's say if Roblox went up, what recourse do you have for Dandy's World? If you wanted to play Dandy's World, for example.
I don't know.
That's the argument for physical media, or at least having a way to back it up onto your computer, so that you could at least play it on your own. But the like Roblox, all of the game is in the cloud. It's not on your computer. You have the game engine on the computer, but the server is feeding you the game information. Minecraft's very much the same way. Although you can play a version of Minecraft that's offline and build and create and do whatever. So that's my big worry with it's kind of like businesses have a responsibility to allow you to continue to own the game, even when it no longer is no longer financially, it financially doesn't make sense for them to do it. Like I said, Sony is the PlayStation 3 store they're going to make sure that that's accessible to users, to people who play the PlayStation 3. I know we don't have a PlayStation in our house. Well, Mom's got one. I think it's the first one, maybe. Maybe she's got a 2. I don't remember. I know she doesn't have a 3 or 4. And that's basically my issue with the console games. If let's say, God forbid, my account gets hacked and I lose all my games, then what? What's my recourse? I don't have any. All my achievements, everything that I did, all my playtime, up in smoke. And that would really, that just suck. I'd have to go and buy my games all over again because I no longer have the rights to them, and you'd have to start a new account and all that happy horse crap. But so, what do you think about? I mean, because you don't seem to mind owning anything digitally. But does any of that make sense? Does any of that make you think twice about just owning something digitally?
No.
Okay, why not?
I don't know.
So what doesn't bother you about owning something digitally?
Because I don't really care about it.
So if it disappears, then you're not out anything.
Yeah.
Because you don't pay for any of the games that you own.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to look at it. And like if let's say my Steam account disappeared, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna cry one tear over the Elon simulator.
The what simulator?
Elon simulator.
What kind of simulator is that?
It's you drive a Tesla Roadster through space and dodge asteroids. That's all. That's what it is.
People are crazy.
It's called the Elon Simulator. It was a free game. I just downloaded it because okay, let's see what this is about. And now it's on my account, and I can't get rid of it.
Why not?
I don't know. I haven't really looked. It's not like it cost me anything.
True. So,
I would like to. I'm kind of done with that game. Although the Super Bernie's World.
I know that game.
That's also a free game.
Yeah.
I haven't played the Orville at all.
It's been a while since I've last played it.
Yeah, it was still in like alpha last time I played it. I think they've gotten way further than that. I downloaded The Hand of Glory, and I promised I'd review it, but I haven't yet. I play Endless Sky. That's a free game as well. But see, Endless Sky it's a free game, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot of time invested. I mean, if we go into Steam, now it's going to update. Okay. Anyway, while we wait for it to update. I mean, No Man's Sky, I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of hours I've got thousands of hours into No Man's Sky, too. And to have all that progress and all that effort just sort of wiped out and have to start over again, that would be frustrating. I'd probably never want to play it again. And it's a $60 game. $30 on sale, but
Dang.
I don't want to play $60 again for a game I already bought. Because I'm pretty sure if Steam went belly up, Hello Games would go and release a standalone PC version. But then, of course, there's a lot of things that Steam provides for a Linux player to make Windows games work in Linux. And it's self-serving though, which is fine because they have a Steam Deck that's got Linux that's powered by Linux that they sell. They have a product that they need to have games working on that Steam Deck. So they developed Proton in conjunction with I know it used to be in conjunction with like Crossover. And I don't know if there's still sort of a partnership there or not, or if it's become a completely standalone thing. Oh, look, it might work. There. It's like Endless Sky. 686 and a half hours. No Man's Sky. 1,633.7 hours. And I'm way behind on it too. I haven't played it for months. Many months. Oh, look, Sims 4. 496.6 hours. And I've got all 3 Descents. Because I really like Descent. I really like the first one. That's got the most nostalgia for me. Chex Quest HD. That's been updated. I think that was a free one too. But I haven't played any. I haven't really played it at all. I still have the Chex Quest CD-ROM. It came in a box of checks.
Nice.
Crystal Caves HD. That's I haven't actually played that one really. There, that's the Elon Simulator. I played it for 7 minutes. And see, you gotta drive a Tesla Roadster through an asteroid field on your way to Mars. Installed Hand of Glory, but I haven't played it yet. I was gonna review it, but we ended up not doing. I wanted to do more video game reviews, but the problem is like I did a few of them, and I didn't get. I did okay with them, but it just wasn't something I was any good at. I want a non. Oh, what is it? I wanted something that wasn't arbitrary. A way to rate a game that takes the kind of my bias out of it, whether I like a game or not. But it's really hard to do that because video games are so subjective. You either like one or don't like it or whatever. World War I Sky Aces and World War II Dogfight. We got 70 hours on those. Those aren't installed right now. But I started with those because they worked in Linux. There were some games that would work in Linux and wouldn't work in Linux, and as Proton advanced, it got better and better and better. Then I could play more and more games in Linux. In fact, the reason Sims 4 is on here, partly the reason, is because it worked really well in Steam. And then I got some Star Wars games, Star Wars TIE Fighter, Star Wars Squadron, which I've never played. Star Trek Online that I played for a little bit. It was interesting, but I didn't play it for long. X-Wing Alliance, X-Wing Special Edition, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Tomb Raider was a free game. Space Mercs was a free game. Space Fighter is another free game. And I think this was one. I don't remember if it was Space Mercs or Space Fighter. It was developed by a local house, a local programming company. And when they released it, it sucks so bad that nobody liked it. I got The Sims 3 and I hate that game.
Why?
It just doesn't, I don't like the way it plays. You know, like, okay. Clint from LGR, he loves the old Sim games. He loves Sims 1, 2, and 3, and they're just wonderful and beautiful. And Sims 4 is such a huge departure. And yes, it has its limitations and it has its oddities, but it's like, The Sims 4 is a much better game. It has more potential than what I think. It has more potential than what EA is putting into it. So I agree with Clint there, but the old games just don't play very well. I don't like the way they play. They're too clunky, and I don't like the way the Sims look. I don't like. I bought all of Sims 3, the whole thing, every single package and update, and all the downloaded content, and because it was on sale for like $100. Everything, everything was $100.
Nice.
And I hate it. I hate the game. Just don't like it at all. Patterns and the textures and the building and don't like it. I got Sid Meier's Civilization 6, which is a game I've never played ever, even on a retro computer. Never played it.
Dang.
And Sid Meier's Civilization is, that's been around forever. Age of Empires, I like it. I've only played the definitive edition for 3.5 hours or whatever.
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
This one I've played a little bit too, but it's installed, and I've got Age of Empires 3, the definitive edition. Some of my favorite games. Love these games. Here's the thing. 0 AD, I like better.
Okay.
0 AD is an Age of Empires kind of clone. It's not an exact clone, but it's made to look and feel and play very much like Age of Empires. I like it way better. And it's free. It's a free game.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for me, because it's a free game.
Weren't we originally going to look at Orville?
Yeah, weren't we going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Overload.
And
Overload, basically the guys that made Descent created a 3D version in a modern gaming engine of Descent, and with better textures and better lighting and better all of it. It's a modern version of that, and it's really good.
Yeah,
I really like it. Except I've only played it for 17 minutes because I don't have that kind of time.
You also last played it in May 26, 2023.
Yeah, like 2 years
Is that
ago.
a 6?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't see that far. What kind of game is that?
It's where you bounce a ball and you eliminate the tiles. It's like Arkanoid, except it's got designs and different things. It's another free one. Planes Attack, it's a 2D flight sim. That was free. I've got Quake 2 that I barely played 5 minutes. I haven't even played it on Steam. I just have it because it was free.
Well, that's not really a good way to use your space.
I've got the space to play around with, so I'm not worried about it.
I don't.
Orville, there we go. Interactive.
Yeah.
I played it for 3.5 hours, but they've done a lot of updates. I haven't played it since May 30th, 2020.
That is a while ago.
That's a while ago.
I think the last time I played it was like either 2020, 2024.
Yeah, see, and it was still in alpha.
Yeah.
And so it's a V18 public beta 2.
Yeah.
So it's beta 2, but they've done a lot of updating on it. I got in on an early alpha release, and when you had to be invited to go and install this game.
Dang.
And very shortly after I got on it, it didn't do much, but it had a lot of potential, and they worked really hard on it. But shortly after that, they allowed the public to download and install it. It's free game. I don't have it installed currently, but eventually, I don't know. Thing is like with video games, my personal thing with video games is like, okay, you can play a video game and it's fun, and you get a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
But when what have you really accomplished? Once you beat the video game, you kill Bowser, Ganon is dead. What have you accomplished?
Wasting hours of your life.
Exactly. What could you have done? And this is I get regret when I think of the things I could have been doing and working on to either educate myself or try a new project or come up with a new thing instead of playing the video game. Now, if I play it just enough to get some inspiration, then if I play it just enough to get inspiration, then it's worth my time. But if I'm playing it like with No Man's Sky, lately there's been a bunch of expeditions that need to be replayed, and you only have a limited time with the expeditions, and and it's never they come out at the wrong time, and it's so frustrating because I have this window to play this game, to experience this new thing that they're doing, and then it's gone. And then I have to wait for a replay if I don't finish it. And the replay is 3 times shorter. And if it doesn't fall on the right set of days, then I miss that too. And now what do I do? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I want to play it, and yet it's not, I don't know. It's a whole thing. But I suppose I suppose we should probably end the podcast there.
I want to say something first.
Okay, you say something first.
Okay, this is totally unrelated, but it kind of relates to a game that you had mentioned, the Star Trek thing. Yesterday, I was practicing something for JOTC, and the person behind me looked like someone from Discovery, and the person right, to my left, asked what flavor autism I was, because I bring up Star Trek.
What flavor autism?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's a new one.
Yeah. And I'm like, none, I don't have autism. And she's like, are you sure you brought up Star Trek? I'm like,
doesn't mean you're autistic. There are Trump-loving, flag-waving Republicans that are in love with Star Trek, and yet they vote against a Star Trek future.
yeah.
They vote against diversity. They vote against the values of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And so liking Star Trek is not an indicator of anything.
And also, apparently they could tell I'm a FNAF fan just by looking at my face.
Well, it's not particularly furry.
Bro. I don't think that's what they meant, though.
Yeah. Anyway, I suppose we'll leave it at that. This one will be a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
But think about, it's worth thinking about how your choices in video gaming, impact the future. I mean, if you're a console gamer, that's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. But just understand that consoles, hopefully that some of these manufacturers will change their tune in the future. Like with the Switch 2 coming out, hopefully they just won't shut off the Switch 1. Hopefully they'll continue to support that in the future. But
yeah,
historically, that has not happened. The Wii, the Wii U, they're done. And that's unfortunate. It's too bad.
Yeah.
And it affects it affects the console greatly. But if you want the last console to use actual physical media, go out and buy a Wii. They're about $35 at a pawn shop. So.
Yeah. Wii's are fun.
But all right, well, and as you, I'm Mr. Gigabytes.
And his sidekick Serenity.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.